So the next thing you want to do is, instead of writing this way, you could pass the data to a cookie file, okay, or a local storage, and you can retrieve this data. So you have to pass the data this way. So what that means is I don't have to worry about the input fields, the hidden fields. I don't need to worry about that, because once I capture in the first form, I will process that, save it into the cookie, and then I don't need to pass that to the form anymore because it's already in memory, right, or in the file. And I can access the data on the last page. Okay, so we can modify this form to use either cookie or storage. Okay. All right. So back to the first page, we got this data here. So I mean, there's a lot of ways to do this, right? One way is you could validate this form, and before going to the second page, you could process the data here, and then save that to a cookie file, and then redirect to the second page, right? Or process and go to the second page if you want. In other words, here we could say validate. Okay, we could do that here. So let's just go into the form on the first page. We'll do a little bit differently. I'll do here, just say on submit, return validate. Just put validate form. Okay, and then we'll write a script to validate the form here. We'll just use the same script. The state script is completely fine. No, maybe not, because it's gonna process the different data. So we'll add a different script for this one. So let's go ahead and create a third script. New script. We'll call this one here just, I guess, validate for now. So because we just process the data when we retrieve the information, we don't need to really use the window on load, right? When we click that button, we submit, it's going to call this function called validate form. Okay. And in this form, we're going to catch the data from the form fields. So we can say var form is equal to the window, is it the document that forms of 0. It's that form, there's only one. And we want to get the username. So var user is the form of username. You can use that array type or the dot notation. Either one is fine. We want to get the value from that field, and var pass were from the form that, for example, password, that value, right? Either one is fine, because these are the actual names inside your form. So in other words, your form, you just call these names here, the username and the password from the form object. Form that username, form that password will get those data for you. And we're not going to validate, we just assume that they are correct, okay? So now, I'm going to create a cookie. Let's say document that cookie is, the cookie name will be, for example, user is the user. Would be the actual user would be plus the user. Okay, username plus that. So in the cookie we have a user is equal to, for example, if test will be test. So we do the same for the password. So here you put pass or password is the pass. So those are stored in the cookie. Once we're done, then we return true. If you don't return true, the form is not processed. and we'll go to page 2. Then the page 2 will still work as before. You will have the data stored through the query string, but at the same time we save data on the cookie as well. And while we are here, let's do one more thing. We'll also do the local storage. See how that works too, right? So just to show that you can have so the local storage, I'm out of time, so just do it really simple. Just do local storage dot set item. It's a key value pair. So again, user, and then the user variable. Okay, not the string, it's the variable name. And then you just duplicate that, and then to see the password, and then just pass. That's all. That's all you do here. And if you want to do the session storage, the same thing. Just change the local to session, and it's in the session storage. Just to see how that works, just do that really quick. Copy, paste it here, and change this to session instead of local. So we'll see all that in the browser. I'm not putting any expression date, so they will remain until whenever I delete it or the user deletes it. Okay, save that file. And then let's go back to the index, make sure everything is here. We didn't modify anything, so when you click submit, it's going to run this form first before it submits it to the next page. Okay, because if return true, it's going to be submitted anyway. So let's go back to the browser and go back to the first page. Yes, thank you. I wish you just know how to do that myself. So this is the validate script. You guys are getting better at this. It's good. All right. Save that and refresh this page. It's blank. And just to prove that cookies are not set, okay, when you're here on this page, you could, so press the F12 key and go into the application tab. This is where you see the cookies in the session and all the local storage here, right? If you're using Chrome. Firefox will be a little bit different, but one of those tabs will also show you. It could be application too. I'm not sure what the other tab is. But here you can see that we have, you can clear the storage if you want, but you have local storage. If you click on the arrow, you see that it goes to this link here, the link that we're using right now. If you click on the link, there's no local storage. Session, also there should be none. Okay, nothing there. And then the cookie is down here as well. You click on it, there's no, well, there's one. This is set by the WebStorm, so we'll keep this as is. But there's no cookie, that's the one we set. So you can leave this this tab here, and I'm just going to go and populate this form here with the default data we used earlier. I want to use just the same thing. Just test here, and then the password is ABC123 or 234, doesn't matter. Okay. So when I click next, it validates the form, passed it, and then now we should have something here. So we'll see if anything shows up. If I click on the cookie, so here's the cookie here. You set the password to that value, user to that value here. Okay. If you click on the session storage, you see that as well, the password and user. And then the local storage should also have the same. Okay, so now it's on this domain, this site now, and then on this second page, I don't need to pass the data here because it's already here. So from this page 2, if I want to grab the data here, then I just basically go back to the script here on the page 2, which is the state. Then I just add another cookie file to store that the new one. Oh, not the state. I'm sorry, not the state. If you want to validate from here, from the page 2, if you validate, then you would like we did, validate the form, or since it's going to the second page, the results page, and you grab the data here, and the results page, which is this result.js, you can put the data here. But since when you do like 2 pages, it's not really that big deal. But let's just say that on the last page here, instead of just showing what we have here, I also want to show the data from the local storage or from the cookie file, just to do something here. So I could just append down here, let's say out of this for loop here. Okay, I will use the same div, and I will do another paragraph tag. So we just copy this paragraph tag, put outside after the loop is done, and then we'll also get the text node. And here we'll also put the this is where we put the data. So you can do the same thing. Var key is if you want to get that data from the cookie, then you want to say document. Yeah, the cookie is a little bit difficult because you have to extract the data and so on. So let's just do it from the local storage. So you can say, maybe I'll show you like use like say data, say user. Just put the user is from the local storage. The local storage or session storage is the same thing. I want to get the item. Okay, I'm not setting. I'm getting now. I'm getting the user, so we call that user, right? That's what we call. And then also get the password from the local storage. Get item is, we call it, I think we call it password. Okay, just to show that it works, I'm going to put this to outside in the global space so we can see it. Okay, so pass the user. I remove the var here. And you can save this. I'm going to just comment this up. I know it's going to have an error. So here, if I submit something, go to the last page. Okay, if I go to the console, if I type in user, you see that user has the word test, and the password or the pass is already has the value of 123 ABC123, right? So that means that you don't have to worry about that key because that key is already that user variable name we set. So in here, then we can already you know, set the data in here. You can say for example, just want to, let's say user, and then append that to the user, and use the same thing with the password, with the pass. And these are coming from the local storage. Okay, and then append, just append these two here. Copy those. And you add that to the DOM tree. And if I go back here and refresh my page, I have the extra info down here. That's what I did. Is something wrong here? A user. Oh, I only did. Oh, yeah, I only did one. I only did for the yeah, I only did for the username because it's not a loop, so you have to actually do 2 times for each, but that is the user from the local storage. And you do the same thing for the password. just add another p tag or something, put to a loop, or if you have to. All right, I know I went pretty kind of fast, but I hope you get the idea that you can have data this way. And just really quickly, last thing here is that, again, back to the here, you can clear the data this way. So the local storage, you can't, there's no way to delete that. So you can just basically clear the local storage here. You can just say clear storage. Okay, but the cookie here, if you want to delete a cookie, then you just have to basically know what that username is, that the name is. So the password, for example, I can go here to the console and say document.cookie. The name is user, and I'll leave that blank. If I don't know that, that's fine. I put expires is equal to, let's just say Friday, I don't know, 1st Jan 1970 00, way back in the old day. So if I set that, assume that's the correct date, okay, and then you'll see that the cookie is now been deleted. Okay, so the password is there, but the user is gone because I removed that by setting that to an old date, something beyond the date of today. So that's the